Hey there, aspiring guitarists. I know a lot of us are getting ready to make purchases for the holiday season, and today we're going to talk about active and passive pickups on acoustic guitars, and more importantly, the focus is going to be on the batteries for those pickups. Now, let's just take this breed love right here. There's the EQ, which has a tuner, and then you have a volume, you got a treble, a bass, and then down here, which is quite common with most acoustics, you have where the amp cable plugs in, and then you have the battery, a 9-volt battery. 9-volt is very, very common, and you simply just, pop open the cover and pop another 9-volt in there. So if you're playing with others and the battery dies, well, within a couple of seconds, you can pop in another 9-volt battery. Most of us that play live, we have a 9-volt battery, a fresh one, in our guitar case. I'm not going to get into all the different type of batteries. Some of the electric passive pickups use a CR2032 and other, and on and on and on. That's not the point. What I'm trying to get you to understand is what's on a lot of acoustic guitars. Now, you saw the setup there. Passive, active. Okay, that's not the point of this video either, but a passive pickup on an acoustic guitar doesn't need a battery. I've got a Epiphone Little Tex over there that is passive. There's no battery. On a lot of passive, you will see the cable plugs in to the strap pin on the heel of the guitar. It doesn't have an EQ. There's no volume, tone. There's no battery. A passive pickup on an acoustic guitar usually gives you a more natural sound. And some musicians covet that and want that, and some want a combination of different things depending on the song they're playing. Well, an active pickup uses a battery. It usually projects louder. It gives you control over the EQ range of treble, bass, mids, volume, this, that, and the other. So it requires a battery. Now, I showed you on the breed love there the typical, you'll see in many, many guitars that have the little door that you open up to put a 9-volt battery in. They're very simple, but there is another way that active pickups are configured. Now, you don't see it. This is a J45 Epiphone inspired by Gibson. It's a wonderful guitar. Now, I'm going to see if I can get you to see that. Yeah, and if you look, you'll see there is the 9-volt battery cable, and you attach your 9-volt to it. And then most all acoustic guitars that have this, my Gibson L00 had this. You attach the 9-volt battery, and then it goes in a bag that has Velcro on it. And then the Velcro is quite often either shoved up on the side, but most often it's shoved up here, up in right below the fretboard. So imagine the other side of my finger in the sound hole. They would have affixed some Velcro up against this fretboard on the underside, and then the battery pouch that you put the 9-volt in would go up there, and it would Velcro to it. Now, I don't like that. Some people do, and I'm going to tell you why I don't. And I'm also going to tell you why I understand some people do. Well, let's start with what some people do. they don't want holes in the guitar. Some people say that when you start cutting a square here or up here, that you're changing the tone of the guitar. Well, I would agree with that. And so I would say, how much are you changing the tone of the guitar? Is it enough to be significant? And that's where the arguments start. But let me point out the cons that I don't like. It doesn't bother me to, I even did a video where some people were like, what do you mean I got to attach a battery? I don't know how to do that. The Epiphone is not going to ship with the battery attached because during shipping, it could come loose, it could bang around, it could damage the guitar. So my L00 Gibson, after a year, the little battery pouch, the black battery pouch that velcroed to the underside of the fretboard in the sound hole just fell off, and it was clanging around, and everybody says you have to take the strings off. Well, no, you don't. If you left enough wound up on the headstock, all I did was detune the guitar. Once I detuned, and I did a video on this, once I detuned the guitar, I was able to pull the strings and just latch each one of them over to the fretboard, and they were out of the way. Then I could stick my hands in there and get to it and do what I needed to do. But this is something you need to think about. Now, I got to tell you, I love this J45. It plays phenomenally. Here's an E minor. Has great sustain. It just plays well. It's a great guitar. But I would be hesitant to take this on the road to a performance or to church to play. And here's why. Well, just put a fresh battery in. Well, even if I put a multimeter on the battery, something could happen to the battery. And then I've got to de-string this puppy, and replace the battery. And that's not ideal in a gigging or a performance situation. Now, I realize you can make the argument, I'd rather have the tone, I'd rather have the sound. We'll just get a backup guitar. I'm just trying to get you to realize if you're fixing to plop down, several $100 or a few thousand for a guitar, and it's got an active pickup that requires a battery, you possibly need to give some thought to what you're going to do with that guitar. Now, that guitar, that J45 there, I play here at my home out in the patio. If friends come over, it's not a big deal to me. If I love the guitar, so I know I sound like I'm bashing it. No, I'm bashing their placement of the battery, but I understand. They think that I guess they think, I don't know what they think. I've heard many guitar experts say that they do that because they don't want to cut a hole in the guitar, period. They don't want to cut a square in the bout or the heel or things like that. But it is something to think about. Now, if I'm out here playing on the patio with my friends and the battery died, I'm just going to reach over and grab another guitar. Now everybody doesn't have that luxury. It is a luxury, but these are things you need to think about. I don't know that if you find a guitar and it plays fantastic and you love it, I don't know that I'd tell you not to buy it simply because you've got to put a 9-volt in the sound hole and attach it to the cable and then put it in a pouch and then push the pouch up to where it catches with Velcro. I don't know that I wouldn't buy that, but I got to tell you, if I had two guitars and they both sound good, they both play good, I liked them both, and one had the ability to just pop a 9-volt battery in a door that's in the heel of the guitar or in the upper bow of the guitar or wherever they put it. And the other one I had to de-string and do that. I believe I'd take the one with a door. But hey, different strokes for different folks. The guitar journey is your journey. Little things like that matter to some people and they don't matter to other people, and that's fine. That's it. It's fine. But being made aware of it is nobody threw a guitar at you. We just tried to make you aware of a passive or an active pickup and what it does and doesn't do. So, some people want to control the tone of the acoustic guitar while they're playing. I'm not talking about down at the amplifier. They actually want to reach in or get in there and EQ out the bass and the treble, and they want to do it differently for different songs. Other people don't even want to fool with that. They may be a singer-songwriter and they're trying to connect the song with the guitar, and they don't want to fool with all that tone. Everybody's different. It's the reason guitars are different. So this is just something else for you to think about when you go to buy a guitar. And I hope you get a great one if you're looking to buy, or if you're buying for someone else. You may be buying for a grandchild or a son that does actively play, in a band or a worship setting or something like that. And maybe that is something you need to think about is, maybe you don't want to give them a guitar that puts them in a situation where if the battery dies, and maybe that's just not a big deal, but it's something I wanted to bring up so you can think and get the guitar journey that works for you or your loved one. And I hope these holidays are beautiful for you and you find them to be a blessing. I hope your guitar journey is a blessing. And most of all, like I always say, and I do mean it, happy picking.